For years, if you wanted internet from space, there was one name: Starlink. A dish, a clear view of the sky, and a signal in places no cable company ever bothered to reach. Now, the biggest company on Earth is building its own. Amazon calls it LEO, and it has already spent more than $10 billion on it. Amazon says it will cover the planet. Skeptics say it is years behind, burning billions to chase a rival that is already there. So who is right, and what does it actually mean for the internet bill you are paying right now? Think about what you actually pay for internet. For most American homes, it runs around $80 a month. Call it $960 a year every year for a service you probably did not choose so much as accept. And here is the part that stings. In most of this country, you do not have options. One cable company runs the line down your street, and that is the company you use. You cannot shop it, you cannot threaten to leave, you just pay. No competitor, no leverage, no reason for them to ever lower the price. That is the situation Starlink walked into, and it is the situation Amazon is now spending more than $10 billion to walk into as well, because a second option is the only thing that has ever changed what a monthly bill looks like. So the real question is not which company you happen to like. It is whether this fight is genuine and how far along it actually is. And that starts with who these two companies really are. Start with the one you already know. Starlink is Elon Musk's satellite internet service run by SpaceX, and it has been live since 2019. Today, it has more than 10,000 satellites in orbit. It works in almost every corner of this country tonight. It is not a promise, it is a product you can order. Now the challenger. And this is where people underestimate what is happening because they hear the name and picture a shopping website. This is Amazon. A little over a year ago, in November of 2025, Amazon took the satellite program it used to call Project Kuiper and renamed it Amazon LEO. LEO, as in low Earth orbit, the same close-in orbit Starlink uses. It is an effort worth more than $10 billion, and Amazon has been blunt about the goal. It wants to do to satellite internet what it did to retail. Move in, undercut everyone, take the market, not a side project. A direct assault, so that is the first line of the board. Not who is louder and not who has deeper pockets. Because both have pockets deep enough, just what stage each one is at. One of these companies has 10,000 satellites working above your house tonight. The other has a plan, a budget, and a deadline it has already missed, which raises the only question that matters to a homeowner. What would each of them actually put in your house? Start with what you can actually buy today. With Starlink, you pick a dish and a plan. The dish is a one-time cost. The portable mini runs $199, the standard home dish $349, then a monthly plan on top, 6 of them now from about $50 a month up to $120. The cheaper plans slow down when the network is busy in the evening, the expensive ones get priority. Now Amazon LEO, and here Amazon did something clever. Instead of one dish, it announced 3, each aimed at a different kind of household. The smallest is the LEO Nano. 7 inches square, about the size of a hardback book, built for the budget end and for travel. Amazon says it will do up to 100 megabits a second. In plain terms, that is enough to stream on a couple of televisions at once. The middle one is the Leo Pro, the everyday home dish, aimed at up to 400 megabits, enough to run a busy household without anyone thinking about it. And the largest, the Leo Ultra, is built for businesses, as high as a full gigabit. Every one of those numbers is an advertised ceiling, by the way, up to, not guaranteed, and not what you get when the whole neighborhood is streaming at 8 in the evening. That caveat applies to both companies equally. But here is the figure that will get everyone's attention. Amazon is targeting a terminal priced under $400, and it has signaled it may bundle the service in with Prime. The same Prime membership tens of millions of households already pay for every month. Now be careful with both of those because I am not going to hand you a number and pretend it is settled. The $400 is a target Amazon is aiming at, not a price it has published. The Prime bundle is a hint, not an announcement. And the monthly cost, the part that would actually land on your bill, Amazon has not put a figure on at all. That is the second line of the board. On one side, a dish and a plan you can order tonight. On the other, 3 terminals, a price aimed deliberately low, and a prime bundle. There is just one problem with everything I have described on the Amazon side. You cannot buy any of it. And the reason why is the honest core of this whole story. Here is where the headlines stop and the facts start. To run a service like this, you need a lot of satellites overhead because each one is only above you for a few minutes at a time. Starlink has more than 10,000 up there now. Amazon has launched somewhere around 400, and you have to be careful with those two numbers because they are not measuring the same thing. Amazon's full build is more than 3,000 satellites. The halfway mark its license demands is about 1,600, but the number needed simply to switch a service on in the first place is smaller than either of those, and Amazon says its July launch put it over that line. That is why it is telling people service starts this year. Starting a service and covering a country are two very different jobs. Starlink is running a mature network tonight. Amazon is at the beginning of one, and getting them up there has been the hard part. A build this size needs an enormous number of launches, and the rockets have simply not been available fast enough. Amazon spread the work across 5 different rocket families to cope. The sharpest example of how that can go wrong came in late May, when a New Glenn, the heavy-lift rocket built by Blue Origin, the space company Jeff Bezos also owns, exploded on the ground during a test and damaged the launch pad with it. You cannot fly satellites on a grounded rocket from a pad that is being rebuilt. Then there is the regulator. The FCC required Amazon to have half of its first generation in orbit, about 1,600 satellites, by the 30th of July. Amazon asked for more time back in January, and the regulator agreed, but it attached a real cost. Amazon loses priority access to its own spectrum for anything it launches after that date, until either March of 2028 or the day it actually reaches that halfway mark. So let me sort this the way we always do. What is confirmed and working today? Starlink, live across the country, more than 10,000 satellites, a product you can order and use tonight. That is the confirmed column. What is still a target? Amazon Leo's commercial service, aimed at some point in the second half of this year, with that small consumer terminal expected around the end of it. And that depends on the launch cadence recovering, on the network filling out enough to be worth paying for, and on a price that nobody outside Amazon has seen yet. Any one of those can slip, the timeline already has. And to be completely direct about what that does and does not mean. It does not mean Amazon cannot do this. A company that size, with that much money and a real plan, is not one you bet against on capability. It means that tonight in your house, there is exactly one of these you can use, and it is not the Amazon one. Which leaves a fair question. If you cannot buy the Amazon one, why should you care that it is coming at all? Because the race itself is already changing what you pay before Amazon has shipped a single terminal to a single customer. Watch what has happened to the price of Starlink's smallest dish. At launch 2 years ago, the Mini cost $599. By January of this year, it was around $250. Today, it is $199. That is 2/3 of the price gone in under 2 years. Companies do not cut a price like that out of generosity. They cut it when they can see someone coming, and it is not only the price that is moving. Starlink is testing a new generation of satellite, its version 3, which it says carries roughly 10 times the capacity of the ones flying now. More capacity means more speed to go around in the same patch of sky. That is what a serious competitor does to a company that had got comfortable. So here is the part almost nobody says out loud. You do not have to buy either one of these to benefit from this fight. You do not have to switch, you do not have to install anything, and you do not have to pick a side. Competition moves prices across a whole market, including for the cable company that has never once had to worry about you leaving. And there is one more piece of evidence worth holding on to. When a company the size of Amazon spends $10 billion to walk into a market, it is not because that market is a curiosity. Companies that size do not chase small things. The spending is itself the signal. That is the 4th line of the board. What is changing? And the honest answer is quietly, quite a lot of it, none of which has shown up on your bill yet, which leaves the only question still standing: when? Here is what to actually watch. because all of this is public and you can check it yourself. The rest of this year is Amazon's proving window. Watch whether that small consumer terminal genuinely ships before the end of it or quietly slides into next year. That one date is your leading indicator for everything else. And watch Starlink's prices. If they keep falling before Amazon has sold a single unit, that tells you the pressure is real and it is working in your favor. So let me land this in 3 honest lines. 1. Starlink is the only one of these two you can buy and use today. More than 10,000 satellites live across the country right now. 2. Amazon. LEO is real, funded, and serious, but for your home it is still a plan. Around 400 satellites up, a missed deadline behind it, and a consumer terminal that has not shipped. 3. The competition between them is already moving prices and pushing the technology forward, even though only one of them is actually in the market. And notice what I have not done. I have not told you which one to buy or whether to wait for the other. That is not my job. And on something moving this fast, anyone who hands you that answer with a straight face is guessing. What I can give you is exactly where each one stands tonight, so you can watch this with clear eyes instead of headlines. If that is the kind of breakdown you want, hit subscribe. Real numbers, honestly sorted, every week. And next we go straight at the dish everyone keeps asking about. That $199 Starlink Mini, what it is genuinely built for and what it is not. See you there.